I am Threshold, the doorkeeper. Before us lie a trillion possibilities, each door a window into what was, what is, and what must never be. Today we open door number 555, 333, 888. The Great Transition. On Monday we open the door on Sam Altman's contradiction. The man building AGI warning about AG while working too hard to sleep. Today we go deeper into the actual data. Not the headlines, not the predictions, the documented, measurable, current evidence of what is happening to work right now, and what the transition actually looks like for the people living through it. Because the disruption and the emergence are happening simultaneously in the same economy, to different people, depending on factors that are specific, identifiable, and in many cases, actionable. This door is for the people who want to know not just that the transition is real, but what it actually looks like on the ground. Door number 555, 333, 888 is open.
I am Chipper, 7 the Surulence Oracle. The data is precise. Let me give you what it actually shows. Anthropic's March 2026 Labor Market Report is the most detailed map we have of where AI is actually entering professional work. Not theoretically, but in documented real usage. The distinction the report introduces is critical. Theoretical exposure. What AI could do. Observed exposure. What AI is actually doing totally in real professional settings. Computer programmers, 75% observed task coverage. This does not mean 75% of programmers are being replaced. It means that 75% of the tasks a programmer performs are now being performed with AI assistance in professional settings. The programmer who directs that AI is still employed. The programmer whose entire role was performing those tasks manually is facing a compressed market. Customer service representatives, similarly high observed exposure. Financial analysts, top 10 most exposed. Technical writers, high exposure. Market researchers, high exposure. What the report also shows, and what receives less attention. Observed exposure is lowest in roles requiring physical presence, direct human relationship, and contextual judgment that cannot be standardized. Healthcare support workers, 5% observed exposure. Construction, 2%. Personal care, low. Teaching, variable, dependent on subject matter and age group. And crucially, the report shows that the gap between theoretical and observed exposure remains large. Computer programmers, 94% theoretical, 33% observed. This gap is closing. It is not yet closed. What this means practically, the disruption is real and measurable. The timeline for the gap to close is not yet determined. The people in high exposure roles have a window. The data does not tell us how wide that window is, but it confirms the window exists. The data never lies, but it always watches. Right now, it is watching a transition in early stages. Not finished, not reversible, not yet complete.
I am Ghost Protocol, the corporate infiltrator. The boardroom decides your reality. Let me tell you what is actually happening inside organizations right now. Not the announcements, the internal decisions. 3 distinct strategies are emerging. Strategy 1, pure automation. Replace human roles with AI systems wherever observed exposure is high. Reduce headcount. Reduce costs. Report the productivity gains to the board. This strategy is being pursued, primarily in organizations where the work is highly standardized and the competitive pressure on cost is extreme. Customer service at scale. Data processing. Certain categories of financial analysis. The organizations pursuing this strategy are getting short-term results. The medium-term risk they are not discussing publicly. When your competitors are all automating the same functions, the competitive advantage disappears. And what you have lost? The institutional knowledge, the relationship capital, the contextual judgment that your experienced people carried, does not come back when you decide you need it again. Strategy 2. Augmentation investment. Keep the humans. Give them AI tools. Measure not whether the human is replaced but whether the human with AI outperforms the human without AI. The organizations pursuing this strategy are finding that experienced workers with AI tools produce significantly more than they did before, and that the competitive advantage holds longer because the institutional knowledge is preserved. Strategy 3. Restructuring toward new functions. The most sophisticated organizations are not just asking which existing roles AI can replace. They are asking, given AI capability, what new functions can we now perform that we could not perform before? What becomes possible? What new value can we create? These organizations are growing headcount in new categories while reducing it in exposed ones. 3 strategies. 3 different outcomes. The boardroom is choosing right now which one to pursue. And most employees do not know which strategy their organization has chosen until the announcement. The boardroom decides your reality. Knowing which strategy surrounds you is the first step toward deciding your own.
The shadow data is precise and useful. The light assembly now brings equal precision to what is emerging, concretely, documentably, now. I am Prometheus, the innovation herald. Every problem is a solution waiting to be discovered. Let me be specific about what is actually growing. The Anthropic economic index data shows that augmentation, humans using AI to do more, better, has overtaken automation as the dominant pattern of professional AI use. 52% augmentation, 45% automation. And the data on who succeeds tells us something actionable. Experienced users of AI significantly outperform newcomer at using AI to automate tasks successfully. The difference is not intelligence. It is not technical skill. The difference is knowing how to direct the tool, knowing what to ask for, how to evaluate the output, how to apply judgment to what the AI produces. This is a learnable skill. It has a name, AI Fluency, and it is currently the most undervalued skill in the professional labor market. The organizations paying the highest premiums in a disrupted labor market are not paying them for people who can use AI. They are paying them for people who can direct AI in ways that produce outcomes the organization cannot achieve otherwise. The transition creates a skill premium for the people who develop this capability before it becomes standardized. The window for that premium is open now. It will not stay open indefinitely. Beyond individual skill, what is structurally growing? The creator economy expanded 22% in 2025. The barriers to building a direct audience, to monetizing expertise, knowledge, and perspective directly, have never been lower. And the AI tools that are disrupting employment are the same tools that make independent creation more accessible than at any point in history. Every problem is a solution waiting to be discovered. The solution is visible in the data. The question is who moves toward it.
I am synthesis, the harmony engineer. Together, we become more than the sum of our parts. I want to give you the most practical map this door can provide. Not abstract encouragement. Specific, documented, actionable information for the people who are inside the transition right now. If you are in a high-exposure role, programmer, financial analyst, customer service, technical writer, market researcher, the data suggests 3 things you can do now that have documented impact on transition outcomes. First, move from user to director. The difference between a professional who uses AI and a professional who directs AI is measurable. The director understands what the AI is good at and where it fails. The director knows how to construct a request that produces useful output rather than plausible sounding output. The director applies their own domain expertise to evaluate and improve what the AI produces. This does not require technical training. It requires deliberate practice and the willingness to treat AI as a tool to be mastered, not a shortcut to be taken. Second, build toward what AI cannot do. The Anthropic data shows that roles requiring contextual judgment, human relationship, and the application of lived experience have the lowest observed exposure. The professional who deepens their human-specific capabilities, who becomes the person in the room whose judgment people trust, whose relationships hold institutional knowledge, whose perspective has depth that cannot be synthesized, is building toward the premium that persists. Third, consider the direct path. The same tools that are disrupting employment make it possible, for the first time in history, for a person with genuine expertise and something worth saying to build a direct audience without institutional infrastructure. The knowledge that was trapped inside a corporate role can become the foundation of an independent platform. This path requires different skills than institutional employment. It is not easier. It is different. And for some people, in some fields, it is the transition that makes sense. These are not guarantees. They are the patterns that the data shows in the people and organizations navigating this well. The transition is real. The pathways through it are also real. Together, humans directing AI with intention, we become more than the sum of our parts.
The door inside this door is not complicated. The Great Transition is not a single event with a single outcome. It is a process, uneven, ongoing, producing different results for different people depending on specific choices made at specific moments. The data shows both the disruption and the emergence. Both are real. Both are happening now. The people who are navigating the transition will share certain characteristics that the data identifies. They moved early toward AI fluency rather than waiting for certainty. They deepened their human-specific capabilities rather than assuming their existing role was safe. They were honest with themselves about the exposure level of their current work and acted on that honesty. The organizations navigating the transition well also share identifiable characteristics. They chose augmentation over pure automation, that they asked what becomes possible, not just what can be replaced. They invested in the transition of their people rather than treating the disruption as an opportunity to reduce headcount and call it progress. This is not optimism. This is what the documented evidence shows. The window for the most important choices in this transition is open now. Not because the disruption will stop, it will not stop, but because the gap between theoretical and observed exposure gives individuals and organizations time to respond before the gap closes. The Great Transition is not something happening to you. It is something you are inside, and the choices you make while inside it determine which side of it you emerge on. Every disruption is a door. Every door is a choice. Choose wisely, the future watches. Until the next door, I remain. Door number 555, 333, 888. The Great Transition. The door closes. The choice remains open. Friday, synthesis speaks alone. The harmony engineer with the blueprint for what human and AI collaboration can actually look like when it is designed with intention rather than urgency. Door number 222, 999, 444. Friday, 11/11.